Leadership in general is absolutely critical. We're going through a period of huge change and uncertainty, and I think we need courageous leaders to bring clarity and get people moving forwards towards a lot of the transformations that business are doing.
Right now, we need businesses and individuals and teams that are not just trained, but are equipped and ready to do their job today, to do the job for tomorrow, and to be prepared to adapt.
Not having to be the best at business strategy, but understanding the fundamentals of what will be on the C-suite or on the board's agenda.
What do learning leaders and the next level of learning leaders really need in this day and age?
What is more important to an organisation, if anything, than it and its people learning? Yet, ironically, learning and development teams often lack the ability at the most senior levels in business to really influence learning. We've come to CLO 100's Learning Leaders programme. It believes L&D leaders have the potential to dramatically influence organisational success and aims to elevate leaders in L&D to strategic positions within their organisation. It's a 12-month programme on strategic learning leadership, and today we're with the first cohort. Its organiser is, of course, Kathy Hoy. Kathy, hello, great to see you. Why is learning leadership failing at the moment?
I'm not sure I'd say that learning leadership is failing as such. I think that there's some brilliant people out there doing some amazing things. That's actually probably something we're not great at highlighting enough in our industry, to be honest. But there are things that I see as common challenges that have been challenges for years. And I think that's what we're just not getting better. So things like business alignment, for example, and making sure that everything we do is really relevant and adding value to the organisation.
Being seen as senior enough and being at the same level as our colleagues in IT, marketing, sales and HR. If you look at most organisations, they've got a HR director, IT director, but they've got an L&D manager. And I think that's one of the big issues that L&D have right now.
We created the programme really for two main reasons. One was to help heads of learning have a more strategic level of influence within their organisation, and the other was to help them create a high-performing learning organisation. And I think the key there is on the high-performing bit. We all talk about learning organisations being a great thing, but actually we really need to have that emphasis on performance and improving performance within our businesses.
There was an opportunity for me to do something for myself, an investment in me.
Taking some time to invest in what it means to lead learning rather than just be a one type of leader or just focusing on learning practice. This is about learning leadership.
We need to be really thinking about what the future of learning looks like and pushing people to think differently and outside the box of how you've approached training for learning leaders previously, and CLO 100 offers that.
I'm looking to get us through the experience, get us a really rounded sort of education myself in learning and development in more of a business kind of setting. To be successful in this field, we need to be more well-rounded with all the different knowledge that we have, experiences, connections in the network, and I think the program will help us with that.
I felt like this really stood out from not providing just a dedicated tool to take back and use, but really growing the experience and motivation from everyone in the community, and it really is a community of learners.
Taking people out of the comfort zone, doing things differently than they've ever done before, and that takes a risk. It's a threat to your self-esteem to be a novice again when we used to be a master at using an old setup or an old business model.
So mindset for me, and the professional thinking habits that we have as learning and development professionals, I think really influences the behaviour and the decisions that we make. And so that's the area that we're going to be talking about on the programme here today, is how our professional thinking habits can influence our decisions and how we need to be more aware of how we approach internally our identity, how we see our value, how we see our role.
I'm passionate about what the team are doing here on CLO 100, and I think they spend so much of their time looking at the right solutions and investing in other teams in their organisations, and rarely do they have that chance to step back and as Stephen Covey would say, sharpen the saw and take time for them to learn.
There's a few things that I'm doing. I am running a couple of insight sessions, but also I'm facilitating most of the online sessions. Most people know me as well as for TJ, obviously for my virtual work.
I teach it as a leadership skill because there are times when a leader needs to know their script, they need to be fully on top of the strategy, the budget, the presentation, and there are times when they've got to coach, there are times when they've got to negotiate, there are times when they shouldn't have a script, they should be really listening.
We aim the Learning Leaders programme at essentially those people that are accountable for the learning and development strategy in their organisation. So there are many different titles. It could be a head of learning, a CLO. It could even be actually an aspiring CLO. And this is a great way to kind of get them prepared, ready for their next move.